Ringo Starr is often introduced as the drummer of the Beatles, but that description barely scratches the surface of who he is and why he matters. He is not simply a timekeeper or a supporting figure in music history, he is a symbol of resilience, feel, and quiet humanity within one of the most influential bands the world has ever known. From a fragile childhood in Liverpool to standing on the largest stages imaginable, Ringo's journey was never smooth or guaranteed. His drumming helped define the Beatles' sound, but his personality, gentle, grounded, and emotionally honest, helped hold the band together during its most chaotic years. As decades passed, Ringo survived the Beatles' breakup, carved out a solo career that defied expectations, and navigated recurring health challenges that forced him to slow down and reassess what truly mattered. Today, when Ringo speaks about the Beatles, his words are not dramatic or bitter, they are calm, reflective, and deeply human, and that quiet honesty is what continues to resonate with fans across generations. A fragile start in Liverpool. Richard Starkey was born on July 7, 1940, in the Dingle area of Liverpool, a working-class neighborhood shaped by hardship and resilience. He was the only child of Richard and Elsie Starkey, and while music was present in the home, his mother loved to sing and his father enjoyed swing records. Stability was not. His parents' marriage ended when he was young, and his father gradually disappeared from his life, leaving Elsie to raise him alone while working multiple jobs just to survive. Illness arrived early and often for young Richard, beginning with a severe bout of appendicitis at age 6 that led to peritonitis and a coma. He spent nearly a year in the hospital and returned home academically far behind his peers, struggling with reading, math, and confidence. Just as he began to regain footing, tuberculosis struck, sending him to a sanatorium for 2 more years. Yet it was during this lonely period that something life-changing happened. Nurses encouraged music as therapy, placing simple percussion instruments in his hands. For the first time, rhythm gave him purpose, focus, and joy. Drums became more than sound, they became survival. Finding rhythm while falling behind. Returning home in the mid-1950s, Richard found that traditional education no longer fit him. Years of illness had interrupted his schooling, and he eventually left school altogether, drifting between short-term jobs while spending hours listening to records and tapping rhythms on household objects. His life stabilized when his mother married Harry Graves, a calm, supportive man who introduced Richard to big band and jazz singers and, more importantly, modeled gentleness and patience. In the rough environment of post-war Liverpool, Richard learned to keep his head down, stay out of trouble, and let music be his escape. He worked briefly in factories and apprenticeships, but none of it felt right until he began playing skiffle music with friends during lunch breaks, turning boxes, tins, and chairs into makeshift percussion. Even without a proper drum kit, rhythm followed him everywhere, quietly shaping the musician he was becoming. Becoming Ringo. Everything changed on Christmas Day in 1957 when his stepfather gave him a second-hand drum kit. It was modest, barely more than a snare, bass drum, and cymbal, but it transformed his life. As skiffle faded and rock and roll took hold, Richard joined Rory Storm and the Hurricanes, one of Liverpool's most popular bands at the time. Around this period, he adopted the name Ringo Starr, inspired by the rings he wore and a playful sense of identity that felt more confident than his given name. His drumming stood out not because it was flashy, but because it felt right. When the Hurricanes played extended residencies in Hamburg, Ringo found himself sharing stages and clubs with another Liverpool band still finding its footing, the Beatles. He occasionally filled in as their drummer, building friendships that would soon change music history forever. Joining the Beatles. By 1962, Ringo Starr was already a respected drummer on the Liverpool scene when John Lennon invited him to join the Beatles. The transition was not smooth. Some fans were angry at the departure of original drummer Pete Best, and early shows were marked by hostility and tension. Even producer George Martin initially questioned Ringo's suitability, briefly bringing in a session drummer during early recordings. For Ringo, it stirred old fears of being replaced and overlooked, but chemistry takes time, and once it settled, it became undeniable. By late 1962, fans embraced him, and his warmth, humor, and musical intuition made him an essential part of the band's identity. Ringo didn't just fit musically, he fit emotionally, grounding the group in moments when ego and ambition threatened to pull it apart. Studio years and growing distance. As the Beatles moved away from touring and deeper into studio experimentation, Ringo's role subtly shifted. Albums like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band were groundbreaking, but Ringo later admitted that creatively, he sometimes felt more like a session player than a collaborator. While his drumming on tracks like With a Little Help from My Friends remains iconic, long studio sessions often left him waiting while others refined ideas that required minimal percussion. The death of manager Brian Epstein in 1967 further destabilized the band, removing the figure who had quietly kept order. Ringo leaned into photography and film work during this period, searching for balance as the band's internal dynamics grew more strained. Life after the Beatles. When the Beatles officially dissolved in 1970, Ringo did not retreat from music. Instead, he surprised many with a successful solo career, beginning with Sentimental Journey and followed by hit singles like It Don't Come Easy, Photograph, and You're 16. His 1973 album Ringo became a major success, featuring contributions from all three former bandmates, a rare moment of post-Beatles unity. Beyond music, Ringo explored acting, narration, and television, becoming beloved by new generations through projects like Thomas the Tank Engine. His drumming style, rooted in feel rather than technical flash, continued to influence countless musicians, earning him lasting respect within the drumming community. Health, reflection, and perspective. Throughout his life, Ringo has faced serious health challenges, from childhood illnesses to later life setbacks that occasionally forced him to cancel performances and rest. Rather than framing these moments with fear, he has consistently approached them with gratitude and perspective, acknowledging how close he once came to not surviving at all. His commitment to wellness, balance, and self-care reflects a deep understanding of life's fragility. When Ringo speaks today, especially about aging, it is not with panic, but with honesty, a recognition that time matters and that meaning comes from how one lives, not how long. Peace, love, and what endures. Ringo Starr's legacy is not only musical, it is emotional. His enduring message of peace and love is not a slogan, but a philosophy shaped by survival, humility, and connection. He continues to create, tour when possible, and support charitable causes through his art. When he looks back on the Beatles, his reflections are filled with gratitude rather than regret. The music continues to reach new generations, and he remains amazed by its staying power. Ringo's journey reminds us that greatness does not always come from dominance or control, but from consistency, kindness, and heart. Long after the final beat fades, that is what truly lasts.